You're watching ClearCut Plus, coming to you live from New York City's Times Square. Welcome back. I'm Michelle Makori. Tensions with Iran continue to escalate. Iran's foreign minister was in Germany over the weekend. There he met with his German counterpart. And talks were held concerning the JCPOA deal, better known as the Iran nuclear deal signed in 2015. Both ministers are saying that they will work together to keep that deal in place. But as the ministers talked, a disturbing alarm was sounded by a former top International Atomic Energy Agency inspector. The former Director General for Safeguards at the IAEA warning that Iran may have as many as 5 secret nuclear production facilities. Now, those facilities mean that Iran could develop a nuclear bomb within 6 to 8 months. However, he also added that the tough new sanctions brought against Iran by the Trump administration are likely to bring about a better negotiated deal than the 2015 nuclear agreement.
Trump administration has decided to go hard and put these sanctions there so that Iran's appetite to the negotiation will increase. And I hope that at the end, in few months' time, after some crisis, we will see this happening, that there will be real negotiations for final deal.
Meanwhile, we learned a disturbing secret this weekend. As the Obama administration was negotiating the Iran nuclear deal, a Hezbollah bomb factory was uncovered in London. Now, fortunately, it was discovered early in the process, but it was a discovery that remained a secret. I-24 News defense correspondent Daniel Tzemach has the story.
Was Hezbollah planning an attack in the heart of the United Kingdom? The militant group based in Lebanon was linked to a thwarted terror plot in London back in 2015. Only now it's being revealed to the public. That's according to a report released Monday by The Telegraph, which states that 4 years ago, British intelligence uncovered and seized 3 metric tons of ammonium nitrate from 4 different properties in northwest London after a tip from a foreign entity. The plot was thwarted in early stages. The UK was aided by Cyprus as well as the United States, where Hezbollah had attempted to execute similar terror plots in the past.
It's not surprising because Hezbollah has been involved in several operations in Europe or attempts to do operations in Europe, not only in Europe, following the assassination of Mornia, which Hezbollah vowed to take revenge of. And indeed, in 2012, they carried out operation in Bulgaria. They were attempting to do other operations, or at least prepare for it, in Cyprus.
But the quantity of materials exposed by MI5 suggests that there was a more sinister plan in the works.
We know from the past that Hezbollah used these kind of materials to build up bombs. For example, in Bangkok in 1994, they found a truck loaded with ammonium nitrate and other stuff that were supposed to make it a large bomb. So we have precedents.
Hours after that report was released, here in Israel, media outlet Ynet spoke to different Israeli officials who said that it was Israel's spy agency Mossad who tipped off the MI5, which led them to the ammonium nitrate. Daniel Tzemach, I-24 News, Tel Aviv.
All right, joining me now is Matt Brodsky. He's a senior fellow at the Security Studies Group. Matt, good to have you back on the show with us.
Good to be with you.
All right, Matt, we are learning just how much this Iran deal cost authorities. As we learned, the UK foiled this plot by Hezbollah, but then covered it up so as not to rock the boat. Are you surprised that this was the approach that the British took to cover this up?
It's a bit more surprising that Britain went along this way. Not only that they went along with the deal when they were still investigating it, but that they didn't prosecute anyone, that they kept the information from most MPs and from the public, and that the information is just coming out now. It's like the JCPOA is essentially the gift that keeps on giving. We knew how bad it was back in, the summer of 2015. It was plenty bad enough, but the deal, the more we learn as time passes, it literally gets worse. Thankfully, the Trump administration has pulled us out and we're applying maximum pressure. I think that needs to continue.
Yeah, to your point of learning just how bad this deal is, in 2017, we learned that the deal also came at the expense of Project Cassandra, and that was a Hezbollah, an attempt to uncover Hezbollah activities by the U.S., including a lot of criminal activities like drug and weapons laundering. And reportedly, Obama administration officials put a roadblock in Project Cassandra because they didn't want to derail the deal, and that was at least according to a meticulously sourced expose by Politico. So were the people covering this up just hoping that once this deal went through, Iran would no longer sponsor these terrorist proxies? Because it's had the exact opposite effect. They've had more funds now to continue to sponsor these terrorist proxies around the world. What was the thinking then?
I think basically once they started parting with the leverage, and I think that that dates back to long before the deal was signed. Basically, when Iran came to the table, the Obama administration took off some of the sanctions and started giving relief. And this started just an avalanche of the type of relief and leverage that we would part with. And so by the time we got to a deal, I think we just wanted to show that really since the deal was not going to be covering Iran's behavior, we wanted to make sure that we showed that there was nice Iranian behavior, that there were, quote, moderates who were in charge of Iran now as a result of their elections. And so we created a fiction that we sold to the world. And apparently the rest of the P5+1 went along with us. I mean, we know that there have been attempted terrorist plots in Europe that were broken up as well.
Hard to pretend that it's fiction when you see the result of all that money that Iran got just with those missile weapons that it has, missile factories and other weapons factories that it has all around Syria, which Israel keeps on targeting. Matt, we're also learning from the head of the global nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, that Iran has indeed continued to enrich uranium. It's increasing the production of enriched uranium, but not quite to the level yet that would be in violation of the deal. What's Iran's strategy here?
Well, their strategy has never been to just have a giant breakout. So the strategy is to push the limits as much as they can, to sneak out of the deal to the extent that they possibly can. Now, the main purpose, again, is still to put pressure on Europe because they want Europe to put pressure on the United States. They want Europe to go ahead and create this financial mechanism that can skirt U.S. sanctions. They've set up a mechanism for that, but it's not operational yet, and we'll have to see if that happens. But the main target is to scare Europe, and that hopefully will give, well, not hopefully, but from Iran's perspective, they would like to see that lead to some relief. In the meantime, if they can push the envelope while staying in the deal and put in more centrifuges or basically enrich uranium to a higher level, then that's fine. They'll keep doing that. We should also bear in mind that the IAEA, they can only verify what they are allowed to inspect. Any of the military sites still remain, you know, outside of their of what they're allowed to look at. So what we know from them could just be, you know, a tip of the iceberg.
Right. Excellent point. Matt, thank you so much. Matt Brodsky. Well, switching our focus now to the U.S. Congress, where members of Congress are scheduled to get